Our event is the Carboniferous Rainforest collapse. The event occurred over 300 million years ago. Many rainforests collapsed due to the increase of temperature, which made the climate drier. As a result, many of the different animals and plant species died. The collapse of the Carboniferous rainforest has affected many different elements in the earth. With the dryness in the rainforest, the hydrosphere has decreased. The rainforest no longer had enough moisture to support the ecosystem. Scientists say that even sea levels began to fall due to the change. In the atmosphere, there was an eventual decrease in carbon dioxide as the plants that died were buried along with a lot of oxygen and carbon. In the geosphere, coal increased because of the collapse and became fossil fuels that are heavily used for energy today. However, some of the coal was affected because it became thinner with the dryness. It also became a source of information later on as it absorbed some of the spores that showed the different types of plants around that time period.
During the collapse of the Carboniferous rainforest, many changes occurred, such as the reduction of carbon in the Earth's carbon cycle. This caused the Earth's climate to become drier over time. Sea levels lowered, causing there to be changes in the marine and terrestrial species. The carbon in the carbon cycle was slightly increased, causing a result in decaying vegetation. For example, trees shedding leaves and leaves decomposing in the soil and getting eaten by microorganisms is an example of decaying vegetation within the biosphere. The decaying remains of plants created a fossil fuel called coal. The use of fossil fuels of coal can affect the Earth's biosphere in negative ways. For example, when coal is being burned, it releases many dangerous chemicals into the air, such as methane, which can reduce the amount of oxygen in the air. Also, coal affects different animal species that can cause them to get killed and displaced from their living environments. These changes listed above affect the human and animal life within the Earth's biosphere in not such a positive way. Examples of climate feedback that affected the changes that occurred during the Carboniferous rainforest collapse consist of level changes of carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, and seasonal fluctuations. Level changes of carbon dioxide are caused by the burning of fossil fuels such as coal. During our class sessions, I learned that the formation of oil and gas are caused by the heat and pressure during the burning sediments that cook marine organic material. Local environmental impacts of the burning of fossil fuels have caused hydraulic fracturing, oil spills, infrastructure, and mountain removal.
Some of the climatic proxies that were used by scientists to infer the Carboniferous rainforest collapse were the sedimentary rocks found in the area. For example, they were able to observe different lines in the rocks to see the changes throughout the climate of this particular time. With this, scientists were able to see changes through different periods, such as the Mississippian and Pennsylvanian periods that occurred during the entire Carboniferous period. Another proxy that scientists were able to observe were the remains of the rocks that were things such as algae, fungi, bacteria, and fossils. Once they looked at the fossils and the other things that were just listed, they were able to tell that over a certain period of time, there was no distinct changes in the climate or the season of that time, which is why there was such a change and dramatic occurrence during the Carboniferous period that occurred.
There were many climatic changes experienced by the Carboniferous rainforest collapse. The air in the atmosphere was warm at first. It was tropical and heavily vegetated. It gradually became cooler and drier with its collapse. Sea levels dropped tremendously. Glaciers occupied the poles. Climate shifted from glacial to interglacial periods on this planet, which compares to the alarming climatic change we see today. Fossil fuels like coal strongly contributed to the depletion of the Earth's ozone layer, similarly to the coal deposited during the Carboniferous period, which caused a large amount of atmospheric carbon dioxide to be depleted. The Carboniferous rainforest climatic changes differ from the changes we see today because the sea level is rising at an increasingly alarming rate. Glaciers are also melting instead of forming at the poles.
Our past climatic episode of the Carboniferous rainforest collapse can be used as a natural experiment for studying our current climatic system. This is because of the events that led to the rainforest collapsing. The increase in temperature led to a drier climate that caused the death of many plant and animal species. This could be an event that possibly occurs again as global temperatures are on the rise. Our current climatic system is experiencing changes that could have similar effects to those in the Carboniferous rainforest collapse. Therefore, it could be helpful to use this moment to study current possible trends in our climatic system today.